So Mike is trying to talk himself into this is what Heat and 6 looks like. He's trying to persuade himself that Heat and 6 doesn't look like what Game 3 looked like, which is, hey, fourth quarter playoff time. The giant guy wins. The guy who's better than everyone you have is going to win the fourth quarter against you.
Mike thinks Heat and 6, and listen, that's still a possibility. Doesn't matter how you get to Heat and 6, you just get to Heat and 6. So you got to go and win a game on Saturday here to get it to 2-2.
But you saw the value of Embiid last night, and it wasn't even offensively, even though I don't know what the hell you're supposed to do when that guy step back threes. Like, what the hell?
Throwing up
what
garbage.
The hell?
Throwing up garbage. Lucky. Cags. Cags everywhere.
Does
Cags
look like garbage, yeah.
I want to get back to CAG.
Cags.
I know, Guillermo, put it at Le Batard Show, because there is a certain segment of our audience that knows exactly what a CAG is, and no one else does.
There may be people in this room that have no idea what a CAG is.
No, this is a good question. This is a good question because you just reminded me of my Cuban childhood. This is exactly how Cuban Americans talked of that age, and I wonder if this stretches across generations. Does it, Mike? My generation to your generation to the generation below you, do you know what CAG means when said by a Cuban American?
I don't know if the generation below me knows about it, honestly. These kids these days.
Where did it come from?
Different.
Where did because I remember hearing it I remember hearing it as a child and being like, what does that mean? Why are we calling that a CAG? And is it because cagalera or I'm not even know. Am I even say what I said? No, it's diarrhea is what I said.
There's lots of things that we say like in slang that I thought was normal that I found out that isn't. Like we say eating bleep, right? Because that's like a translation from of Spanish, like saying, right? Eating bleep.
Mm-hmm.
I did that, like I was in DC, I did that, and they're like, why would you be eating bleep? And I'm like, it's not something people say. Like this is a common expression. They're like, no, that's weird, man.
Yeah, when you really break it down, hey, what are you doing tonight? I don't know, just eating bleep. That sounds disgusting. Why would you say that about yourself?
Why would you?
Hey, look, it's Pablo.
Hey, Pablo.
Hey, Pablo.
Hey. How you doing? Don't break the
doing,
camera.
man? Starts at 8:55.
Yeah, but CAG, uniquely Miami word.
Well, what other words are there like that? Like if I go all in with Cuban American word that only Cuban Americans know, CAG, who's beating me? What word is beating me? Because
There's a lot of people here that still have no idea what it means.
Is someone going to tell me what it means?
It just means
I'm one of them.
It means to get lucky. It means to.
A CAG's a CAG, bro. I don't know. You CAG that.
Yeah, that word can be used, by the way, in any form. You CAG'd it. That was a CAG. I guess those are the only forms.
It's a great word.
What is it, like an acronym or something?
And like, I pulled it out of my bleep. That's a CAG.
But I don't know what it actually means.
What it means is what Joel Embiid did in the fourth quarter last night.
He was caggy?
No, caggy is not. No. He was cagging.
Oh, okay.
Everything that he did was a CAG.
All right.
Well, how about this? And this isn't going to bode well for our late arriving friend here, Pablo Torre. I mean, Pablo was visibly giddy anytime Philadelphia did anything good last night.
Fist pump. I thought there was one. Yeah.
Visibly.
It was a fist pump.
Pablo.
Put that fist down.
Pablo was so happy to see Embiid be an extraterrestrial. It was as if, honest to God, I envied what was happening with Pablo. I'll tell you why. And Heat fans, you will too. Because I'm watching Embiid and I'm like, my team would like one of those. I'd like to root for that for the next 10 years. I'd like to have that on my side of the rooting interest.
I'd
for
just
10
like
years.
a Covington. I mean,
we have one of those. He plays 8 minutes a game now. I mean, this
guy.
What a mess.
Look. I will never forgive you.
Unbelievable.
Hassan, I will never forgive you.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I will never forget what you've done this series.
What a CAG.
In the front. No, that's not how you use it, Stugotz. That's not how you use CAG.
No. I agree. Like, he's the worst.
He's the worst. He's the worst.
You want to fight him?
Yeah, we were having the discussion in this. If the four of us
Let him come in here right now.
fought Hassan Whiteside.
The four of you?
Yeah.
No, make it the 8 of us. What do you mean the 4
You
of
think
you?
he beats the four
All
of us?
8 of us.
You think he beats the four of us in a fight?
I'm so mad right now. I'll go first.
Yeah.
I'll just like take him up, and you guys come.
One at a time?
No, we're not going one at a
I'll
time.
just take the brunt of it. I'll take the brunt of it.
Maybe-
No, but this is how much
strategy
Chris
ways.
wants to fight him.
Yeah.
He's saying, I'll go first.
Yeah,
like
you'll
never.
just-
I'm Leroy Jenkins. You
Yeah.
guys are planning the fight. I'm going in.
Out of the blocks, Chris is the best candidate.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, low center of gravity.
Oh, freckled rage.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the first 4 yards of Chris are, I think, the best 4 yards, the first 4 yards of any of us.
Bat out of hell.
Yeah. Low center of gravity.
I feel like we could distract him. There's so many TVs here that if you put on like 5 different episodes of SpongeBob at the same time, just 5 different episodes, you'd be like,
Just one.
whoa!
Just one. No.
Yeah.
Get a red velvet cake delivered mid-fight.
I'll just show him the super zoom on Instagram, and he'll be like, whoa!
Look, Stugotz has a fruit on his head, according to Snapchat. Chris, kick him.
That's it. Just distract him, and then you just punch him right in the keg.
That's not how
I
cat
don't think
works.
that's how it works.
That's not-
I don't even know
not-
what it means. I know that's not how it works. I mean, do better.
I mean, it was garbage last night.
It really was.
And honestly, it was a rare 20-point loss that really felt like a 2-possession game.
Yeah, it's a close.
That final score was not indicative. That game deserved a better fourth quarter because that game was hot sex from the jump.
Well, but until the fourth quarter.
And then I just started touching my own nipples.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Because those 3 quarters of basketball, that was a great first half of basketball. That was fun. Everything was fun. Chippy. Dragic is going at them, flexing his flabby, pale muscles.
Whoa, they're not flabby. Vascular dude. Joel Embiid resorting, can you believe this? Dropping his mask on the floor to try to trap Justice Winslow into slipping and tearing his ACL.
Yeah.
I mean,
What is that?
we knew that these guys lacked playoff experience. I understood that. But try to act like you've been there before.
Yeah,
Try to have a little class.
Be professional.
I mean, you're overcompensating. We're over here just trying to be professionals because we've been there before,
Oh, yeah.
and you have all this rage and this testosterone and this tough defense. What is this? Get out of here with that. And making what it's a make or miss league, right? They're making, and I'm not a fan of it. 18 threes on the road.
Come on.
I know I said this after game 1, but that's never going to happen again.
Okay. Mike, how tired are you of the Bellinelli off-balance stuff?
Man, it's garbage. It's garbage. It's not fair. That's not how you should win.
No.
There should be an asterisk.
But how
if they
scared are
advance.
you? Every time it
He's
leaves,
a terrifying player.
Every time.
He really is.
I fear him more than Embiid. I know that I was surprised, and I think maybe he padded it in that incredible fourth quarter that he had because he's an amazing basketball player. But I was rooting for Joel Embiid to come in the game because I felt like it was a better matchup for us. Because the hell I want Bellinelli out there shooting off balance threes, cagging everything.
Yeah.
Did we hold Ilyasova in check?
Hold on. I want a poll. Did we hold Ilyasova in check? Put that on the poll. Did we hold Ilyasova in check?
He didn't go off.
But can you guys tell me on the Sixers now, what is the most annoying thing? Is it Dario's face? Is it
What's wrong with Dario's face?
Oh, it's annoying.
Have you
man.
seen it?
it's the mustache.
Have you seen
The
it?
2-time EuroLeague MVP you're defaming there.
It's the
You know what?
mustache with no middle.
Why didn't you pick today to show up on time-ish?
Because it's been a while since I touched my nipples.
He was really happy about that Sixers win last night. I
Yeah,
don't-
just because he wrote it. You wrote an article on Tyler Johnson too, buddy.
I did, and I do feel bad about that. Tyler Johnson is the only NBA player to invite me to his home to play FIFA, and instead, I'm stomping all over his grave.
You had as many rebounds as he did last night, and assists, and steals, and blocks.
Well, Tyler hasn't been very good. That's something that's worth exploring. I wonder if Pablo would have enjoyed it more if Tyler had been beating the Sixers, because it's always about Pablo, and he wrote articles about the Sixers and Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, but I staked my claim in the Sixers way bigger than I did to Tyler Johnson. Again, apologies to Tyler Johnson as well as his mom, who's very nice.
Mike, did you enjoy the whitest moment in NBA history last night, where Dragic got that layup and then went at Bellinelli and then stepped back?
The flex.
Yeah.
Man, that was so cool. I was so amped. That game it felt like Miami was winning the moments battle, right? It just felt
They
like
want some
we won.
moments.
Now, that Dragic, was that not the first moment, or was Justice stepping on the mask? Which are the
Again,
moments?
he didn't step on the mask purposely.
Right. It was there. It was
Joel
a
Embiid
bear
left it
trap.
there.
A bear trap
Yeah.
left to
and we're lucky that Justice didn't slip.
dislocate his ankle while he was playing so well.
Right, and then when he stepped on it, he was kind enough to pick it up, and he's like, "Oh, I bent this a little bit," so he wanted to get the dent out.
Whoa.
I mean, he's playing this utmost character.
Wait a second. Who are we here back there objecting to everything?
Oh, she is unbearable.
Al Salantonio.
Al Pal has been talking smack since I got here.
Allison.
Deserved, Allison.
Philadelphia fan Allison. What happened here? How did we not realize that today's show was going to be 6 Miami people against 2 Philadelphia people? How did Pablo become a Philadelphia person?
Bald self-interest.
And that's right, all ego related. Pablo wrote a story about him and wants to be right about the process. So
I wrote the story that inspired the name The Process, which is a fascinating thing to unpack at some point. But for now, I just want to rub my nipples.
Fascinating, because your narcissism knows no end. You are the one who invented. Put it on the poll. Is Pablo the one?
I'm going to vote yes on this. I think he did. I mean,
is Pablo the reason that they call it The Process? Is that actually so? Is that Mike? Is that it? Might actually be so.
I think it's actually so. So we have 2 tastemakers here, Pablo, and I invented Bumpy Johnson.
Pablo, aren't you officiating a wedding for Sixers fans? Is that happening?
Whoa. A charity officiating of a wedding for Sixers fans at their lottery party.
How are you the mascot for this team? I don't understand.
I'm not the mascot, Dan. I am the prophet. I am the national representative, the ambassador, to a land that many people denied existed, which was a land of people who thought this whole thing was a good idea.
who denied Philadelphia existed?
We all know it exists.
Waiting. There's a Bleacher Report column on the, the definitive history of Trust the Process, and Pablo's all over this thing, man.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's explore
Nipples
this.
engaged.
All right, let's explore this for a second, because I didn't realize that I was sitting next to a man who was showing more emotion yesterday. Keep in mind, this is a man I've seen show no emotion and mock after death. This is a man I've seen show no emotion and mock after the death of my own dog, as I explained it to him. And what felt such shame at not feeling emotion that he ran away from me as I was explaining the death of my dog in my arms, spasming seizures.
The con of mammals was not appropriate to bring up at that point.
The con of mammals. And he's like, he was giving me some form of the argument that dog never cared about you. It's an animal.
Actually, I was giving you the argument that you shouldn't have cared about that dog so much.
Regardless.
Because we value dogs in the con of mammals over things like birds, which can tell us in the English language, I love you. And not gonna do it. This dog seems better.
Put him on the couch. Put him on the therapy couch.
Already?
For a little while.
Now?
For a little while. Throw him out.
This is not being televised. He's
Did
gonna
you
be there?
Did you steal Trust the Process from a Sixers player?
See, Stugotz, as the ambassador, as the acolyte, as the representative to this forgotten land, I was passing down the words from on high.
Right.
And was on high, former Sixers player and all-around forgettable athlete, Tony Rotten, whose name is either Roten or Rodden, and I really haven't figured it out, even though he is responsible for my greatest trademarking in my career.
Trust the process. So anyways, all of which is to say, he doesn't
Sounds
believe...
like you did a rotten thing. Oh, no! What an upset!
All of which was to say that Pablo yesterday was giddy with excitement, even though he feels nothing in the way of real human emotion.
I mean, you cagged that.
Man, I mean, you gotta get this correct, man. I don't even know what it means. Come on.
You confused Roy.
I mean, I don't even know what's going on here.
What Pablo was actually rooting for last night was his own ego to be right. Like, that's all that's why he was so giddy. He doesn't.
I've been there, man.
Were you caught in the middle of Dan and Pablo yesterday?
Allyson, explain to me the trash you've been talking. And I know that these guys have given us about 4 opportunities to end the segment on a joke, but I want to find out what Allyson is actually feeling here.
I mean, these guys are relentless every day. This team, and Miami Heat fans are. I mean,
watch it.
I mean,
Watch it.
what does arrive late, leave early all the time? Like, they are really.
Allyson, you let Heat fans have it with Pablo as your hype man. Go ahead with all that feeling that you genuinely have, all of those things that you genuinely feel because you hate Heat fans. You let them have it with Pablo as your hype man. Philadelphia gets to talk the trash today. Miami's a loser.
You tried to break Joel's mask.
Yes, what was that about? That was
mean,
just childish.
He broke your soul.
Yeah!
Justice was served.
Yeah.
Oh, justice was served.
Yeah.
Apparently that's his name. His last name is Justice. His first name.
That's
Whatever.
a fine. Yeah.
Whatever.
Keep going, though.
Dwayne, Goron, Justice, Udonis, Studio, Gangsters.
Oh, yes.
I actually have a sweet scoop. This is a true thing. So the Sixers, they don't want Joel Embiid talking about his love of Shirley Temples. I couldn't remember the name. I'm sorry. I just couldn't remember the name. Shirley Temples. Because apparently there's, sugar is dangerous. It is. It's like the new, I don't know,
Just read the
drug.
paper.
So,
Allison, $2. Get on the therapy couch.
No, wait.
No.
This is a good part.
As one source put it, sugar does to your body what Hassan Whiteside does to your team.
Yeah! Worth the wait.
Wait, one more thing about Hassan Whiteside. He is bad.
Indisputably bad.
Miami, in case you were wondering, you can watch the Heat lose on Saturday by 30 for only $69.
Nice.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like a whole new person.
Disclaimer, you will not become a whole new person. This is impossible. You might be able to join a gym or diet program, buy a new wardrobe, get hair implants, but your DNA and physical form will remain the same. Geico waives any and all liability if you attempt to become a new person, except a cyborg. If you choose to become a half-human, half-cybernetic organism with lasers for eyes, the Geico legal team would be cool with that, because, quote, laser eyes are pretty sweet. Pew, 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 end quote.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard.
I've made a vow to not correct Stugotz all show today on any mistakes, not point out any of his mistakes as part of a continued quest to do better and be better.
Stugotz.
Yep, and I have vowed to try and be 1% less worse than I normally am. That's what you asked, and that's what I'm going to try to do. 1%. I'm trying here, man. I am.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
So the Miami Heat have a home game last night, and Embiid coming back changes everything. He won the fourth quarter, and if you look at the numbers when he was on the court and when he wasn't on the court, he was changing everything for the Heat defensively because he is giant. But the Whiteside stuff is infuriating, man. He has checked out. Like, it's rare that it's that obvious that a guy, you know that scene in Casino where De Niro comes through and there's the guy in the cowboy hat and he's like a city councilman's son that has a job and he's incompetent, and De Niro like walks by him because something incredibly stupid has happened, and he's like, you're either, because somebody was cheating, and he's like, you're either in on it or too dumb to know. Either way, you're out. Either way, like, hey, the 4 fouls, Hassan. Maybe it's because you've quit. Maybe it's because you're dumb. Get out. Like, what are you doing?
Malice versus incompetence is always a fun game. Because you end up in exactly the same place, but you're trying to figure out, is this person actually intentionally this terrible?
Which is it?
I think he's frustrated with the minutes, like he's not getting minutes.
But that would make it malice. That would make it something. Is that conscious?
Well, thank you, because I had no idea what that word meant. So.
He's just frustrated, man. He's a frustrated player, and he's struggling to get through it, and he can't get out of his own way. The harder he tries, the worse it's turning out for him. It's a bad series by a player that we've all had questions about, even though he's a fully formed adult at this point. This is who he is.
I mean, after the game, Spo put it on himself. Said, listen, it's my job as coach to figure out how to get him in the right positions and to get him going offensively. It was weird to hear him say that because after an alley-oop dunk last night, he took him right out of the game.
No, but you said that's his job as coach. His job as coach. He
said that.
I know. But in saying that he said that, what he is actually doing there is his job as coach is to say that publicly, because he is on the cusp of losing this player. You saw when he was talking to him during a timeout. You see in the difference between the quotes 2 weeks ago where Hassan is questioning his minutes and getting fined and saying bull bleep, and then his quotes are way too extreme in the other direction. I totally trust coach's decision making. I totally trust everything that coach thinks about every opinion he's ever had in life. And when he got pulled out yesterday, for him to get mad at anybody other than himself, he picked up his 4th foul. They got him back into the game by Wade throwing him one of those bull bleep blobs, lobs. He got the dunk and then wanted to stay in the game. You got the fourth foul before that, and it was a dumb foul. Like, you haven't been in the series the whole time because you can't stay out of foul trouble. That's not smart.
But with him, who cares about fouls at this point? Like, he got a basket, maybe some confidence is built there. Just let him play it out.
Fair enough.
Let him play it out in that spot.
Fair enough.
You're trusting Hassan Whiteside, are you?
Game 3, fourth quarter. That's what he was doing. Yes, that's what Stugotz is doing. Game 3, fourth quarter.
Because the fourth quarter worked out really well for the Heat without Whiteside.
But there you go. All you're playing there is the result. You're not playing Whiteside. You're just playing the result.
Well, some people play instruments. I play the results.
And again, his post-game comments were, Coach just wants me to stand in a corner and set picks. So the comments have gone in the opposite direction. I've never seen someone checked out at a check-in table before, but that's what's happened. It's a true mental struggle now for Hassan Whiteside. I don't know if he can get out of it. I don't know, because like the matchup that you want him, that he's necessary for, that player's really good. He's a lot better than Hassan Whiteside.
And he's been taunting Hassan Whiteside. I mean, this is like this. If not now, when? Is I think.
But how about this one? If you guys want to really dig down on what's happening here with Whiteside and Embiid and, big man stuff, growing up as a child who's large, we've got one confident big man whose confidence is obscene. And we've got one who's not confident right now, and furthermore is feuding with this particular guy because he wants to be what Embiid is, a star who gets to show all of his personality. And that guy comes back last night and with a mask and not right, clubs him when he's not confident. And then, Pablo, this is the other thing. What is the guy? You're a high school bully. And now there's another bully that comes into town and he's bigger and badder than you. And you don't really have a chance against that bully, but you haven't given any thought to what kind of bully you are. You're just frustrated and angry now, and you don't have the mental things that, emotional things that would make you be mature about adult introspection. Like, you might check out because it's like, I want to just fight Embiid. This whole series is about me fighting Embiid and being better than Embiid, and then you got 4 fouls and Embiid is... And you can't take advantage of the only advantage that the Heat would have, which would be Whiteside without Embiid playing. Like, I find all that stuff interesting. Like, where do you think Whiteside is mentally, specifically as it relates to when he wakes up this morning and he has been embarrassed on television. He's frustrated. Maybe his coach trusts him. Maybe he doesn't. And Embiid's getting everything. Embiid's back. He's breaking the mask. He's the superhero. How do you think Whiteside experiences all that? That must be a nightmare.
But the nightmare is even more nightmarish because Joel Embiid coming in as the big bully isn't just out brute forcing Hassan Whiteside. Joel Embiid is the kind of nightmare who also somehow knows martial arts and can do backflips and is just sidestepping you and has skill. What Joel Embiid is showing Hassan Whiteside is not only that you are a fraction of the player that I am, but you don't have the equipment to even dream of doing what I am doing. He's a different species of player, and what Hassan Whiteside is looking at is he's looking at obsolescence. Extinction, really, as a relevant force in basketball. You're talking about endangered species to extinction.
I mean, we were marveling last night that in today's NBA, Kelly Olynyk is a better matchup against Joel Embiid than Hassan Whiteside.
You were saying that, right. Ilyasova is a nightmare in today's league, and Whiteside's someone you can't get 15 minutes, and he's your max player. Yeah. But the stuff with Embiid, to me, mentally is really interesting because we know, look, man, I don't like calling athletes dumb. They can be geniuses about what they do and not be smart in the ways that other people do the measurements on intellect. But Hassan Whiteside has shown consistent immaturity. And how do you think that kind of immaturity is going to meet this kind of frustration where a guy is better than you, more skilled than you, he can do all the things you can't, and he's reminding you at every turn that he's better at basketball than you are. This thing you've always defined yourself by, he's better at it than you are. He's more versatile, and he's the next wave of evolution, and you're going from endangered to extinct.
He's got the better comebacks. Every time you try to come back at him, the crowd's not really reacting, and then he comes back with a really smart one, and it just gets you even more frustrated.
He's better at Instagram.
Yeah.
He's more clever.
No, he's younger. He's better. It's got to be an incredibly frustrating position for Hassan Whiteside. And I'm sorry, you're getting to the point where you can't you just can't trust him. He's got one more shot.
They should compare checking accounts.
Don Le Batard.
You really are of the impression that all of South Florida and good parts of America are huddled around their transistor radio just to hear your opinion on things, aren't you?
Yes, in Europe, too.
Stugotz.
Don't listen to anything Stugotz says.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Mike, so we spent the entire hour talking about Joel Embiid and Hassan Whiteside, and like the best, we were marveling at this last night at the game because he makes it look so easy. And he's so young, and he's playing in his first playoff games. But, man, Ben Simmons, it's like, I'm not certain. I know what you're saying about Embiid. I'm not certain Ben Simmons isn't going to turn out to be the better NBA player.
Really? There's so many things to like about his game, but I just don't know if he can take that next step without the threat of a shot at all. It's not a remote threat. And when that guy gets ahead of steam, he's pretty scary. In fact, he'll purposely hang back around the half-court line so he can build up ahead of steam because it's pretty unstoppable. James Johnson's a good defender, a big body, and he's got no shot with that dude attacking the rim. But I just don't know if he could ever take that sort of MVP step that a lot of people have him as without learning how to shoot. It would be crazy to me if he can pull that off without learning how to shoot. He's still a young player, and we've seen several players learn how to shoot, at least to the point that it's effective enough. But I don't know. It's so bad right now that I don't know if he'll come close to that ever being a threat.
But it seems like he's athletic enough, obviously.
It
seems like he could develop a jump shot, is what I'm saying.
Why, just because he looks like an athlete?
Yeah. Yeah. If he could do all that, I'm guessing if he just spends an entire offseason working on nothing but threes, that he'll become at least a threat, Mike. He never has to be great
just because of how his body looks. I'm sure Calvin Johnson, you think he can develop a shot over time in basketball? Like, it's not just a body type when it comes to shooting ability.
I do believe that of Calvin Johnson.
You think Calvin Johnson
I think
could
Megatron,
be an NBA All-Star?
Yes, not an NBA All-Star, but maybe win the three-point contest. Maybe. And a dunk contest.
Well, let's ask our resident Sixers expert. Allyson.
Can Ben Simmons develop a jumper?
Can Ben Simmons develop a jumper?
They can't hear you.
Hey, go to a microphone, please. Radio.
On the mic.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, what are you seeing that
I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing a lot.
Yeah. Like
so
what?
much on the court.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves it all out there.
Right.
All the time.
He is entirely present on the basketball court.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anything specific?
He's never any other place. He's there. Can I bring something up to you guys? Because this is very interesting and important. Have you guys all had cheesesteaks?
Yes.
Speaking of Philly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Someone in this room, he's going to remain nameless, eats mustard on a cheesesteak. Do you guys find that weird?
I know. I've never done that, so it's not me.
That's gross.
But I like a little acidity to my food. I think
mustard on a cheesesteak?
It's disgusting.
It's not disgusting. All right, listen to me.
It seems to be Billy.
You guys are very judgy with all of your ridiculous food rules. I have a toasted, put in the thing, heat it up, Philly cheesesteak, wheat bread, put some mustard on it. No onions. I don't like onions. Wheat bread, the steak, some cheese melted on it, obviously, and mustard.
This is a frozen cheesesteak?
No. You heat it up, obviously.
No, I know that, but you go to the grocery store and to get a cheesesteak, you go to the frozen food section?
No one said that. No, I go to Subway or I go to wherever the sandwich
shop. But did you say you microwaved your cheesesteak?
I think you said that.
That's what he said.
You guys are very, very poor listeners. All of you, very poor listeners.
Why don't you start over again?
All right. Okay. I go to have a Philly cheesesteak. All right?
Yeah.
And I like it toasted, obviously, because I like the bread toasted. I like the meat nice and warm.
Right.
I don't like the onions on it. And then I'll have mustard on it. I don't know why it's so weird. You Philly people are so uptight with your stupid rules of a sandwich that you've made your whole identity around this dumb sandwich. There's a million of these stupid sandwich shops all around your dumb town.
Wow.
Philly cheesesteak, Philly. Listen. I eat it in Miami. It's a Miami cheesesteak now. I have it at Miami Subs. Miami Subs cheesesteak.
First of all, you said that you
By the way, Miami Subs cheesesteak are so good.
And they don't have cheese whiz on them. What is with that?
Here's a pro tip.
Oh, I'm pro whiz.
Yeah, me too.
You like
Someone
whiz?
needs to explain that to me too, because you guys were talking about this cheese whiz. Are you guys talking about the stuff out of the can?
Have you ever seen a Goofy movie?
Yeah, of course I've seen the Goofy movie.
A Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
Yeah.
That's the whiz, man. The Tower of Cheesa is Cheese Whiz.
But don't you prefer real cheese on your cheesesteak? I mean, listen, for me, it's not, listen, a cheesesteak with Cheese Whiz on it is not a cheesesteak.
Exactly.
And a cheesesteak with mustard on it, Guillermo, is not a cheesesteak.
Wait, no.
Especially yellow mustard. He's going yellow mustard on the cheese.
By the way,
He's going French's? Oh, my God.
I can't.
Here's another tip. Make your cheesesteak better. Put fries in it. Seasoned fries, delicious. Those little papitas are good on certain sandwiches, not cheesesteaks. And now that we're on the subject, let's talk about hot dogs. Because I'm judged for putting ketchup on hot dogs.
Yes, you should be.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Wait, what?
Can't put
terrible.
What's wrong with that?
Roy, get on that website. Roy started reading me all these rules the other day about what you can and can't do with a hot dog. And there's after 18, you can't put ketchup on a hot. I put ketchup on a hot dog. I put mustard on a hot dog. I eat a hot dog the way I like to eat a hot dog. And I don't care about your stupid rules. Because in your little hot dog Bible, it doesn't say shove 56 hot dogs in your mouth in 50 seconds like they do every 4th of July. And that's the most American thing we have.
Yeah, a hot dog with ketchup is not a hot dog, man.
It is definitely a hot. Oh my
Is there actually
God.
a website called hotdogbible.com?
No, this is like some stupid hot dogs. What's the website?
Hot-dog.org.
Because it's a nonprofit, obviously, we're raising money for endangered hot dogs or something.
It's owned and operated by the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council.
Whoa.
What the hell is that?
That is one hell of a council.
You know there's a president of that has like a business card and he takes himself super seriously.
But he's also dressed like a giant hot dog.
I'm president of the hot dogs. No mustard on your hot dogs. What are the rules, Roy?
Put hot dog toppings. Don't put hot dog toppings between the actual dog and the bun. Put on top as dressing.
But what if I already have my hot dogs like super loaded and there's no other space?
That seems to be a you problem there, Mike. Sorry.
Yep.
Let's see. Do serve sesame seed, poppy seed, and plain buns on your hot dog.
Do?
Yes, do.
Do, why? I don't like those.
How about do enjoy it, don't drop it on the floor?
I like those. I like those potato rolls with nothing on
I
them,
had
man.
an everything bagel hot dog, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
In fact, though, if you put the condiments on the side of the dog, you could actually drop your hot dog and possibly still pick it up and have the condiments not attract all the little dirt and dust.
Do you guys like the split hot dog that's like cut down the middle? I don't like that. No, but like I guess that makes it like, I don't know, cooks it through or something. I don't know. I like a nice foot long too. Foot long hot dog's the best length hot dog.
I've had a Dodger dog. Overrated.
How long is a Dodger dog?
It's a foot long.
An actual foot.
Best hot dog ever was Uniondale, Long Island, Nassau Coliseum. They dipped it in beer.
Oh, really?
Dirty water dog, yeah. Fantastic.
They dipped it in beer after it was already made, so you had a soggy bun?
No. They dipped the hot dog in beer and then put it into the bun.
Ah.
Very good.
One time at a Heat game, I ordered a hot dog next to Brian McKnight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The
really?
Brian McKnight.
Get out of here.
The Brian McKnight. Hot dog next to me.
Wow. Did you have really good seats, or what kind of seats did you have?
I had dance seats that day.
Okay.
So,
obviously.
Yeah, but you know what? It's weird. One time in 2008, soccer superstar Michael Ballack was in the 300 level.
What?
Nobody recognized him.
No.
Not a single one.
I heard someone was recognized and heckled yesterday.
Yeah, people made fun of my seats yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, they called it the nosebleeds. It was lower level. I like the back to my. I like my wall to the back. You know, I don't want any drunk people
You're
behind
back
me.
to the wall, you mean?
Yeah, I like my wall.
Fine, though.
I like my wall. It's my wall to my back. Okay, I've carved out that area.
Right.
I don't like drunk people leaning over me and potentially spilling their drinks on me, so I sacrifice a better view for comfort.
Wait, you like to sit up against the wall because you fear an ambush?
Yeah. Have you ever been to a professional sports game?
I was in the lower bowl last night, Mike.
Yeah. So if you've ever been to a professional sports game, you realize that people are terrible.
Yeah. How didn't you get ambushed yesterday, Pablo?
I mean, we were ambushed, but I wasn't afraid of the ambush. Like, what? People bothering you? People coming to say hi to Stugotz? Yeah, that happened a lot.
Yeah. It did. What a cag, man. I mean,
bother you.
Well, it did bother Stugotz.
It didn't bother me. I was fine.
Well,
that's not true.
What bothered me is people would get their cell phones out and record me and like, why are your seat's so bad, you stupid loser? And I'm like, hey, man, thanks for listening. What am I supposed to say there?
It's just Kornheiser's friend who bothered me. That's it. That's the only guy. And I question whether or not he's even friends with him.
We we were also standing waiting to buy beer, and all these people kept coming up to us. And at some point, Stugotz was just like, no. You literally just said no to people.
I turned on someone pretty quickly. I did.
It was very mean.
Yeah. Well, he didn't want to take a picture with me, and then I just turned on everyone. He just wanted you and Dan. I went home. That was it.
Wait, so one guy was asking for like group pictures, and one of them was like, no, Stugotz, not you. So then no one else got a picture with you?
Told me, yeah, that was it. And it got ruined the party for everyone.
That is how it happened.
That's literally what happened.
That is how it happened.
Did they hand you the phone to take the picture, Stugotz? Because that's the worst.
He did not do that, but I would have broke it had he done that.
There was the three of us talking, and he wanted a selfie with just me and Pablo, and that's where we lost Stugotz for the entire evening.
Yeah.
Never saw him again after that.
That's why he left the arena.
We never saw him after that. Never saw him.
A 24-point lead, I mean.
That was late in the game. Yeah. Again, we established that it's a 20-point loss. That felt like a two-possession game. 4-6 was really like the true accurate spread. Right. By the way, Dan always likes to make fun of these mid-season acquisitions. Like, how is Mike Bibby ever going to make a difference? How is so-and-so? How are these bought-out contracts ever going to make a difference? Philadelphia is so much better because Ilyasova and Bellinelli. So much better.
And also Embiid and Simmons. Yeah. Who will make just about anybody look like those two dudes.
Mike, yeah.
Just about anybody.
Okay, well, they were actually pretty awesome without Joel Embiid, and it was because Bellinelli was destroying it. They were there before, and Philly was a night and day different team.
But
with
Bellinelli has not looked like that when he is in Charlotte or Chicago or even San Antonio when he doesn't have Simmons, someone like Simmons caving in the entire defense.
But to Mike's point, sometimes those moves do matter. Like they've constructed a very good roster here. Yeah, Simmons can't hit threes, Embiid can, but they have a bunch of guys.
You could find 50 Ilyasovas and 50 Bellinelli.
Okay, I understand that, but these guys happen to be playing well right now.
What? What are you talking about? They didn't find those guys until they actually found them. Your whole argument was these guys existed before, and that's why the new guys are awesome? No, the team's a lot better because Bellinelli and Ilyasova. You know, this is Dan being a sports agnostic again.
What does that mean?
He doesn't believe... he doesn't believe in the things that we believe in, Stugotz.
Oh, okay.
That impactful midseason moves can put you over the top.
Listen, I'm with you. There are 50. He's probably
remember
right.
Troy Murphy? Do you remember Troy Murphy?
Yes.
And how everybody was tripping over themselves?
Yeah. The Celtics got him. We were devastated. That was such a bad day, but we got Bibby.
Yeah, but we got Bibby, and that was the one that won.
Yeah, standing ovation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of standing ovations, one of the loudest pops of the night, if not the loudest, was when Mario Chalmers was shown on the big screen.
I saw that. Yeah, we were laughing at it.
Why?
It was just funny that he got such I don't know, it's Chalmers, and everyone's making such a big deal about it.
What's he up to these days?
He's got good seats. His back's not to the wall.
He's gagging. Mike, you know what I feel like? If you guys are up for it, you don't have to. But I feel like South Florida a little bit down today on a Friday, and I don't think there's much to be down about. We're in the playoffs. You're down 2-1, and you got a home game to square to 2 games apiece tomorrow. You win that game, you go back to Philadelphia, you see what happens. Like, Wade's going to win you another game in this series, we think. That was a sad moment for me last night, where it was desperation time, and Spo had no answers, and he looked to his bench to try to do anything, give him something off the bench, and what he looked at was a 36-year-old broken man. He was great in game 2, but he can't do that 2 games in a row.
Stop calling him a broken man. Okay, he's
not the player he once was.
He's one of the greatest 2 guards in the history of the NBA.
He's top 3, I think.
Have a little respect.
Okay, he's a top 3 2 guard who, at this stage of his career, is broken.
What's frustrating is there are these moments in the game where they clearly have got nothing, and you need Dwayne Wade to rescue you. Which is insane to me considering some of the contracts you've dished out on this team. It shouldn't be that way. One of them's an all-star this season. One of them almost created an international incident because he was an all-star. Because of Parliament getting all hot and bothered.
Right.
Hassan Whiteside's another... Look, there's some clear issues with this roster. But what I said at the beginning of the series will prove out to be true. This team hasn't been there before. They're a bunch of front runners. Mm-hmm. It's going to get tougher for them.
Yep.
And they're the kind of team that's going to have a problem when the game gets tight. All you have to do is avoid losing by 20. And then Ben Simmons is going to be afraid to attack. Yeah. If you can somehow avoid losing by 20, you're good.
Yep. It's a win, actually. Yeah. So we have like 2 minutes left. Do you guys want to try to get South Florida? This is your last opportunity here to get South Florida pumped up for this game headed into the weekend. Because they're down today, Mike. I could feel it.
No, this is Heat and 6. In fact, when I called Heat and 6.
I mean, I feel like this needs some music. I don't know what you want to do. You guys do it.
When I called Heat and 6, this is precisely the way that I had it. Precisely, I had Philadelphia winning game 1 by 30. I had an eke it out victory game 2 to send a message saying, hey, no, not our first rodeo. We can win on the road. This series has officially started. And then I had an emotional lift provided by Joel Embiid's return. And that happened. I didn't think it would be by 20. I had it more like a 12-point win. But it felt like a 4-point victory. We've covered that. And now, boat race on Saturday. And that's a tough... This young team in South Beach on a Friday night with a 2:30 start, that's going to be an ugly game, man. Bellinelli, I know that dude's history. I know that dude's trying to slide up in some DMs. Okay? Like, that guy's not going to have his legs Saturday afternoon. That's essentially a 6 a.m. call time. This is not going to happen.
The 4:21 6 a.m. call time.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You think Bellinelli right now is smoking a cigarette?
On 420?
Yeah.
Sure.
He looks like he smokes cigarettes.
Yes, he does. He does look like he's smoking cigarettes. Yeah. So we win that game, and then everyone's going to assume Philadelphia wins Game 5, and that's where they're wrong. Another eke-it-out victory. Game 6 back in Miami, essentially a home Game 7. No way they lose that. And the only process that Philadelphia and Pablo are going to be doing are processing that L.
Process these nipples!
What? Oh, okay.
I'm processing them. I wish I didn't.
No.
People put Cheese Whiz on Philly cheese.
Cheese Whiz is
out of a can on a cheesesteak. Why would you do that?
That's what Pablo said. It's the way.